Hello, fellow degenerate old schoolers, and welcome back to another episode of The Orb. Tonight we have a special match. It is Xpoint's 39 first round of the playoffs. Normally there's somewhere around 50 to 60 opponents that get together for the online monthly. It's held on Titania in case you want to know where to hop in at. You can go find the Xpoint's rules fairly easily. And to be honest, I wasn't even going to do a video tonight. I had this video come in a little while back, and I just got around to downloading it today. And then I looked at the decks, and after looking at the decks, I thought, yep, it's time to do another video. So, let's take a peek at them. And here's a look at Nathan's deck. It's red, it's green, it's fast, it's low to the ground. We can see all his creatures either cost 1 or 2 casting cost, not counting the Urnums. Urnums is by far his highest end with a 4 casting cost. His only 3 casting cost in the deck are 2 Blood Moons, so what's to lay down, possibly ramp a little bit with the Land of War Elves, or throw out an immediate attacker with the Curd Ape. I love that, Giant Growths are in here to protect these creatures or deal maximum amounts of damage as quickly as possible. Same with Berserk. Has the 8 red bolts, 4 Chain Lightning, 4 Lightning Bolt. This deck is good looking, low to the ground, even 1 Pendlehaven in here. I love that Elvish Archers made the cut. They always had a place in my heart. So I can imagine this deck is dealing 20 damage relatively quickly, and that's why it's in the finals. We can see his points are sunk into 2 Moxen, so Mox Emerald, Mox Ruby, that's 4 of the points. He also has 3 Mishra's Factories, so that's 7 of the points. And that looks like that is all he is running. Maybe a Wheel of Fortune could fit in here, or Regrowth, but you don't have to use all 10 points. And sometimes those points slow you down. I don't know how many times I've ripped a Wheel of Fortune and just wished it was anything else. His sideboard, he's got 4 Red Elemental Blast to take care of any blue shit going on. I love the 3 Concordant Crossroads. His deck is so low to the ground. That wipes out the other world enchantments. Very efficient move, especially since it's only 1 green to drop down. 3 Shatterstorm. Love Shatterstorm too. 2 Whirling Dervish and 3 Tormod's Crypt. For those undead fucking decks. You know who you are. So, let's take a look at Nathan's opponent. And here's a look at Tim's deck, and this thing is off the charts wild. I'm going to call it a Nether Void deck. He's running 2 Nether Voids. And then we could also call it a possible Titania Song deck. He has 1 of those in there, and 1 Berserk, and 3 Relic Barriers, and 3 Howling Mine, so it's an extra draw engine deck, and tap your opponent shit deck, because he's got a couple Icy Manipulators, and he's got Paralyzes, and 3 Lightning Bolts, and 1 Fireball, and little green creatures to ramp mana, and some other mana removal. I mean, this deck is it's playing cards that here's what it makes me think of.
I am very excited.
Yes,
Definitely very excited to see this thing go off. I haven't watched the games yet, so I'll be watching them with you. Tim's points, he does stick them out with the dice. He has 1 Wheel of Fortune, a couple Mishra's Factories, and another 6 points tied up in 3 Moxen, the Jet, the Emerald, and the Ruby. His sideboard contains a Falling Star, 2 Trackers. Tracker is a cool card, typically just seen in mono green. I'm sure those come in to try and mow down those those weenie decks. Terror, a city in a bottle, which will actually probably play in this match. 2 Tsunami, a Red Elemental Blast, a couple Gloom, a Flash Fires, Ivory Towers for life gain, and 2 Whirling Dervish of his own. So, I've said enough about the decks. I can't wait to see this. Let's get on to game number 1. And here we go with game number 1. Yeah, Tim takes a mulligan, so he's starting with 6. I believe he won the roll and is on the play. Yep, shoots out a Taiga. And Elves of Deep Shadow. 1/1 elf can produce black mana, costs a life. Nathan drops a Taiga of his own. I think he yells samesies. Tapping it. Yeah, that Chain Lightning just took down that Elves of Deep Shadow. It's back to Tim. He fires out a Factory and a pass back to Nathan. Nathan fires out a Forest. And a Curd Ape. Curd Ape hitting the board already at 2-3. And Scrib Sprites. Nice. So, 1/1 flyer, 2-3 on the ground. Curd Ape is all powerful, except for a defending factory that can pump itself. And Tim has one of those. The Scrib Sprites is still a real threat. Giant Growth is also a real threat. Oh, Tim answers back. A lightning bolt right back to the ape. What a show. Ape was just sitting in the forest and out of nowhere, straight to dead. So Tim drops a Strip Mine. Ooh, activates and comes in with a Factory. So Nathan takes a couple points of damage. It's down to 18. Looks like Nathan cracks back in for 1. And replays another Curd Ape. Oh no! Tim's tapping. And another bolt to another ape. And Nathan says, not this time, ape will live. Wow, Giant Growth in there to save the day. Look at that. We just missed a whole animation sequence, Nathan. Oh shit. Tim Sirius drops a Nether Void down. He's behind on creatures. He doesn't care though, because it shuts Nathan out of everything. Nathan now needs to play land just to be able to cast a Mox. But he is cracking in for 3. Tim's down to 16. Tim can also play, 1 casting cost spells. And he does have a Factory in play, so that is at least something. He can't take care of that flyer, that Scrib Sprites. Even though he's forever away from winning the game, is a real threat. Looks like Tim's dropping a Badlands. And passing back to Nathan. Tim's now up to enough mana sources to play 2 casting cost spells. Nathan's slowing down now that Mishra's Factory's untapped. Only comes in for 1, puts Tim down to 15. Tim just needs a few answers, and really he can take over this game. He can deny Nathan another mana with his Strip Mine, and look at this. Another factory down. Looks like he's sending the factory in. Wants to test the waters. Cracks in for a few more damage. Puts Nathan down to 16. Looks like Nathan's coming back across the board with the script sprites, poking Tim in for 1. An immediate pass back. Nathan's choked out. I mean, he needs at least a couple more mana to get his deck going again. Look at that, 6 in hand. Looks like the factory's coming in again for another 2 points of damage. Nathan's on 14. So this race is definitely in Tim's favor. Yeah, another one in from the script sprites. And Nathan's up to a full grip, 7 in hand. I doubt he's saving up for his favorite Loa to come into play. Unfortunately, he is just missing mana drops, and I'd guess most of the time his deck could care less. Having 2 mana out's probably pretty efficient for him. Gets through most of his spells, but with a Nether Void in play, it gums up the whole system. Uh-oh. Tim's counting. Yeah. Look at this. Chaos Orb activate. And here's the flip. Clean rotation. Italian judges give it a 6.3. It seems a little high, but good hit. I think those judges have been drinking wine and they're cheering everything on anymore. Must be late night for them. So, another Curd Ape has hit the bin. That one gobbled down by Chaos Orb. Script Sprites is still poking in for 1. But it's not enough. And now we can see those factories. Let's see if he ramps in even more damage. Ooh, look at this. Elves of Deep Shadow. Bringing back some ramp. And coming in for 2 at the factory. So applied pressure. Tim's going to have 7 mana sources here for the next turn. So he is having his way with this game. Nathan just hit his 3rd, but it is an important 3rd mana source as it is a Pendlehaven. And Pendlehaven can speed this process up. And look at it go. Script Sprite's in now for 2. Tim's down to 10. Unfortunately, Nathan's only on 12. And Tim hits another land drop. Wow. Tim using his Strip Mine, taking down the Taiga. This race started off, and Nathan ran the fastest 100 yards that we've seen in a long time. Unfortunately, Tim passed him and said, "It's a 10K, you dickhead, to keep going." Oh, brutality. think we're counting up the mana here. Fireball's not quite as huge as it once was when the Nether Void eats some, but for 5 mana he can deal 1 damage. Oh, look at this. Factory swinging in for another 2. Yeah, this is looking bleak for Nathan. He does drop a Pendlehaven, a mountain? Oh, he untaps. Drops a mountain. So he's up to 3 mana. Again, he can cast a Mox again, but unfortunately, he's so far behind. Oh, there's the 3 Tim just paid to cast the Mox. Look at this. Coming in for 5. That puts Nathan down to 5. Tim's still on 9. This game is a turn away from being over with. Let's see if he has an answer. Oh, missed a land drop. No answer. Unfortunately, Nathan's board state looks all too familiar. I'm in that situation so many times. It hurts. Having the ability to play nothing. Tim just having his way for the evening. So, Nether Void squeaks it out. Let's take a look at game number 2. And here we go, you degenerates. We're moving on to game number 2. Top 16. Tim just had his way with Nathan, even though Nathan's deck is low to the ground and should be favored by the Nether Void. Tim ended up taking control and finishing it off. So game number 2, Nathan's on the play, fires a forest, passes over to Tim. Tim dumps a Taiga and the Elves of Deep Shadow. Alright, back to Nathan. Nathan's got an Elvish Archers out. 2-1, first strike. It is a serious threat. Back to Tim. Let's see what he can come up with. Oh, he drops a Pendlehaven. I mean, that's a real something. That shuts down an attacking factory. It shuts down that 2-1 first striking Elvish Archers. I know I've jammed some Archers and some Xpoint decks. Sometimes they just don't do great. Alright. So, looks like Archers is coming in. You know, is it a bluff? Does Tim want to block? That's why you play the Pendlehaven. It looks like Tim's just taking the 2, knocks him down to 18. Nathan taps 2 more for an Argothian Pixies. Wow. So, I mean, next turn he can come in for 6 if he uses that factory and still leave 1 green open. This is becoming a problem for Tim. His creatures are really starting to stack up against him. Oh, spicy meatballs. Look at this shit. Tim drops a Tracker. Tracker is tap 2 green, tap Tracker. My shit fights your shit. First strike is out the window. I love it. I love it. Tracker's in from the sideboard. This is great. Looks like Nathan's go ahead and activate the factory. Deactivating the factory. Yep, coming in with Argothian Pixies and Elvish Archers. Tim taking the 4. I think he's dropping down to 13 or 14. 14, yes, he is dropping down to 14. Oh, here we go. Nether Void out again. Tim paying 4, losing a life. Going to 13. This is ballsy. I mean, he's got Tracker up still to defend, but his opponent has up to 3 2-powered creatures. And finally hits that red mana source. Wow. Nathan drops a Taiga and at the perfect time. Tapping 4, Concordant Crossroads. Oh, look at this. Tapping 4, destroy target Nether Void. Now all your shit can come in and attack at instant speed. This is ballsy. Love the Concordant Crossroads move. This is great. This is fucking old school Magic. Ooh. More spiciness. 3N, Ice Storm. Mishra's Factory does not matter to Tim anymore because he's just leaving it on the board. That's ballsy. He knocks out Nathan's Taiga. Uh-oh. And yes, the Taiga is now for sure gone. And look at this. Elf is coming in for 1. And Tim drops a heat on the Elvish Archers and passes. Oh, look at this though. Urnham Jin down, and guess what? Concordant Crossroads is sending his ass in at lightning speed. He's sick of nothing. Tim's down to 7. Not looking the greatest. Oh, but immediate answer fucking bottles up the Urnham and sends his ass packing. I mean, he might as well be floating in the ocean now. And Ivory Tower. Oh, this is devastating. What a swing back. I think Tim's on 2 cards though, so he is a few cards away from gaining life. Nathan does still have that factory in play. That's always a serious threat. And here he goes. Factory in. There's a blocker. Elves of Deep Shadow. Giant growth. Factory's getting huge. Yeah, that was no bluff. So Factory does no damage. Elves of Deep Shit takes a shit in the woods and is dead. The Mishra's Factory dug the hole, buried the body, killed the elves. Probably helped that the factory was on some steroids. The steroids were giant growth. And here we go again. Tracker number 2 hitting the board. Man, this is awesome. Tracker's also unaffected by summoning sickness. Here we go. Tracker's blocking. Holy shit. More steroids. What is this, 90s baseball? Giant growth on the Mishra's Factory again. 2 for 2. Murdering Tim's creatures. Looks like Nathan's down to 3 in hand. Tim's back up to 3. Drops a land source. He's got to answer that factory. I always say it. Factory's a pain in the ass. And here we go. Let's draw 7 new cards. Oh, Bolt and 2 giant growths. Too bad that red mana source was tapped. Bolt could have come in. Looks like Tim pitches a Berserk along with his wheel. That will turn that Ivory Tower on for next turn, which is huge at this point. I mean, Tim's on 7. Life is becoming scarce. And he has to answer that factory. And a couple 3 life a turn is a great answer to factory. I have a bad feeling that Nathan with 7 new cards is going to be throwing them down as fast as he can. Tim tapping 1 and Llanowar Elf hitting the board. So it looks like he's going to pass with 6. Probably not the worst idea. That puts another blocker in place for that factory. Pendlehaven hopefully can hold its weight. Oh, Nathan with another answer. A Moxen and a Mishra's Factory for his land drop. Kurdabe. Alright, here comes this low-profile deck. It is speeding up as we speak. Argothian Pixies. Wow. So Kurdabe shouldn't actually be in play. City in a Bottle should take care of that. Probably just a misplay. He's sending in the team. So Factory's getting pumped. Yeah, I think they're having a discussion about Kurdabe here, which is good. Probably just a accidental misplay, and that happens. But yeah, Factory's getting pumped, coming in for 3. Tim's going down, I believe, to 4 life. Yeah, 4 life. He does have 6 in hand. Yeah, gains 2 off that Ivory Tower. Goes back up to 6. So this is huge. He does still have to deal with those 2 factories. I guess only 1 can attack a turn. Just because of the pump ability with the Pendlehaven. Tim tapping 2 and Winter Orb. Holy shit, this is going to shut down Nathan's attack plan. Wow. What a pain in the ass to show up here. There was no hint or scent of Winter Orb anywhere from game number 1 or all the way up to this point in game number 2. And what a critical mass time to hit it. Looks like Nathan's untapping a mountain. His Emerald fires down a forest, so he does have 3 mana now. And that is pretty sufficient for his deck. And Nathan's just passing with 3. Tim gaining 2 more life from Ivory Tower and crawling out of this half-dug corpse hole that Nathan had made for him. I mean, Nathan's out dragging the lime out of the back trunk of his car, and Tim's putting up Ivory Towers like fucking a wild man. This does not bode well for Nathan's low, quick and dirty to the ground deck. Okay, here we got a lightning bolt. Straight to the elf. And another elf dead. Blocker off the map. Really shuts down that Pendlehaven too. Tim is definitely on the slow play here. 2 ivory towers out, 6 cards in hand. I mean, he's staring down the barrel at 4 life a turn. And 3 to the face. So from 8, he goes back down to 5. Real threats abound. Oh, this is so brutal. Tim hops back out of his own grave again and says, I'm at 9. Look at me. I mean, at this point, he is forcing his opponent to come up with answers to those towers, or this party is going to be done with. So, back to the draw go portion of the game. There's so many artifacts that Nathan needs to deal with right now. And I wonder, you know, after game 1, after he dealt with the Nether Voids, I don't think he was feeling like artifacts were going to be his problem. At least I wouldn't have. Now that being said, I'm not that smart. So factory sent in. Tim's already got an answer on board. Strip mines out the factory. Oh, gains another 4 life. Up to 13. Wow, so, you know, we once thought Tim was on his deathbed, and it turns out that he is doing better than most. So, more draw go action. Yeah, Nathan sticks back in for 2. Or maybe 3. Tim goes down to 11. Tim's got 7 in hand. Gonna gain 6. Back to 17. Oh, this is so brutal. Nathan's gone through so many cards. And Tim is just about back to the starting point. So Nathan continuing to send the factory in. Unfortunately, it's a losing proposition as Tim is gaining still a net 4 life a turn, even after he eats the factory damage with 7 in hand. I mean, if they were on a foot race to begin with, you know, Nathan's carrying a sledgehammer and was hitting Tim in the head with it. And then somehow Tim popped right back up, hopped in his car, and drove away. Yep, Tim's back up to 21. I shouldn't say back up to, I believe that's the first time he was north of 20. Tim is at 21. Nathan's at 20. I mean, just at some point, Tim has to play out some card to win this game out. But, yeah, now he's at 25. So, net 4 again after the factory comes in for 2. Scavenger, folks. So, that's an answer to the factory. And he is online as we speak, thanks to the Concordant Crossroads. Folk eats a bolt. Looks like, oh, Nathan takes out the Mox. Activate Scavenger Folk. That's a good play. That will slow the factory down from coming in, as he'll need to use 2 of his mana resources every turn. That Winter Orb is just brutalizing Nathan at this point. Not giving up though. Look at this. Tap in 3 for Blood Moon. Wow. That's going to turn all of Tim's shit into mountains -1 forest. I like it. That's a leveler. I mean, that takes him off black. He is not casting anything that costs 2 green. Wow. That was important. So Tim fires down another Badlands and passes. I mean, Nathan, even though he's still on 20, he is just so far behind at this point. Tim tapping 3 for an Ice Storm. Oh, and vaporizes the other factory. That's not huge. Blood Moon's out there shedding that off anyways. Maybe Tim hasn't a planned answer for the Blood Moon. More Drago action from both of them. Tim pumps his life total up to 43. Ooh, throws 2 down for a Chaos Orb. Always a great equalizer. Passes back to Nathan. Nathan's up to 6 mana sources open. 3 red, 3 green. I mean, he needs something to start dealing damage. I would guess at this point he's got a handful of cards that are Arabian Nights. They have the sword on them, and that City in a Bottle. City in a Bottle has them all stoved up. Yeah, City in a Bottle eating the City of Brasses. They cannot come in play. Good catch. Both the players are on a full grip of cards. Tim is in absolute control of this game, though. City's gotten Nathan shut down in a bunch of different ways. The 2 Ivory Towers with the Winter Orb are sending this game quickly out of reach for Nathan. I mean, he needs that Shatter Storm sometime last week. It's just getting so far out of reach. Tim fires down an Emerald. And gives a pass back to Nathan. Okay. First threat down in a long time. Land of War Elves hits the table. And comes in for 1. Gives Tim a haircut down to 54. And he immediately gains 6 more life and goes to 60. 2 for an ATOG. Love it. I saw a couple ATOGs in his deck. Look at this. ATOG coming in. And 2, 4. 6, 8, 10, 12. Ballsy throwing the Chaos Orb at ATOG. ATOG is now at 13, 14. I mean, ATOG has the highest fucking metabolism of any old school creature. Eats and eats and eats. And he just stays skinny and smiling. Brutality. And a fireball. Holy shit. So, Fireball finishing another game out. That was huge. Wow. As always, thanks for watching the Orb. Big congratulations to Tim. Big runner-up to Nathan. Good job on making a deck that makes it to the finals. Or top 16, I should say, playoffs of Xpoint. And Tim will be moving on with his Parfait deck. I love it, I love it, I love it. Have a good night.